And hi, everybody. Let's make sure we're actually live. Yep, we are. All right, this is a little bit of a different setup, and I'm like out of focus. Hold on. How do you, manual focus, is that it? It's not usually this far from the screen, but I couldn't get the project. Nope, that's worse. Oh, does that work? Okay, I guess. Hi, it's been a while. Yeah, summer has gone. It is for sure autumn now. Oh no, don't do that. Don't autofocus. I hate this. No, stop it. Well, we'll work with what we have for now. All right, I've missed doing this actually. And I have about an hour. What time is it? 1:34. I have about an hour to do this. I might not fill up the hour. I very usually don't fill up the hour. But if I do, I do. We have a lot of garlic to process. I have thought about it. I was only going to do like a limited number, but then I ended up getting a whole lot more garlic in the mail than I was expecting. So now I'm going to do a little bit more. I'm not going to go overboard. I'm not going to use up every single thing that I bought, but I'm definitely going to fill up one of the raised beds and then maybe a couple of other spaces. We'll see. I am going to take this on the slow side because I wanted to fill up an hour. And then I also want to, when I get to the whole processing the cloves out of these bulbs, I do want to have a chat about something we covered during the middle of the summer on burnout. And I just wanted to not elaborate so much, but, just talk a little bit more about it and how it's now, from then till now, how I've felt about it. So let's start with the space that I'm using. I'm using a raised garden bed. This is the first year I'm going to be doing it in a raised bed. Now, I saw a channel the other day come through my, suggested, and it's a pretty big channel. The man did a comparison whether the inner bed, the inner space of the raised bed yielded better than the outer space of the bed. And it was pretty much the same. But my conclusion for that was that the inner and the middle of the bed held on to moisture more than the outer part of the bed, obviously, because you're running off on the sides more. So I feel like that contributed to why the garlic in the middle may have done better. I'm using, as much as the bed, but I have quite a few different types of garlic. I have hard neck, soft neck. I have elephant garlic, and I have elephant garlic orb. Is that right? Do I have the paper still? No, I don't know. I have to go through the boxes in a minute to see if I do or not. So I'll try to do it so that some are on the outside and some are on the inside, so everybody gets a fair share of the space. Now, the main space I'm working with is a 3x6. I also plan on using a grow bag for some stuff, and maybe I'll do some in-ground. I haven't totally decided yet. We'll see how many we fit into the 3x6, and then, yeah, we'll go from there. So if we're using a 3x6, I'm going to do some math on a calculator. That's 18 feet. 18 times 12 is 216 inches. I plan to space these. Hey, girl. Hi, Girl Dad Cooking of Deliciousness. Thanks for coming through. I got 216 inches to work with. I'm going to space them about 4 inches apart. So that's 2 on each side. So if you did, let's say this is 1 clove, not a whole bulb. So it'd be 2 inches on from the center, 2 inches and 2 inches. That would give you every 4 inches. So the next one would be planted 2 inches away versus a whole 4 inches away. The garlic's never going to grow that big. It doesn't need that much space. Happy Friday. What was I doing? Math. Let me do some little technical here. I always forget to tell people I'm doing this. Particularly this one was just a pop-up. We're coming up on the weekend and I want to get this done this weekend particularly. So that's why I'm starting it now, because this is one of those things you forget to do until you're doing it. And it's like, you have to break up all these bulbs before you can plant the garlic. I mean, yeah, sure, you can plant the whole bulb, but that really, is not the point here. All right. This is where it gets tricky because I don't know how to convert math very good right now. So I have 216 inches. What, do I just divide that by 4? Is that? Will give me 54 garlic cloves. Maybe. That sounds pretty reasonable. No? Wait, let's see. 216 and then. I mean, I guess I have to trust it. It's math, but I don't like it. I'd like to double this, so it looks like I will do at least 1 in-ground bed if I'm only going to get 54 garlic into that bed. Yeah. Because I find, particularly since I'm not doing like all one thing, like all hardnecks, like I've done in the past, then I'm going to want, because I'm going to want at least 50 heads of hardneck garlic, because that's the main garlic we consume. And then the rest are pretty much for fun. So I would like the majority of the beds to be hardneck. All right. So the thought process is I'm going to do a grow bag of the soft neck. This is my first year that I'll be putting in soft neck. But soft neck doesn't need as much chill hours as hard neck. Hard neck requires pretty much a full winter. If you don't get a winter, people refrigerate their bulbs, cloves ahead of time, and then plant them in like 2 months or so. So what am I? I'm in the end of October here. I harvest early July, end of June. For people like in California, they don't plant till January or maybe December and harvest about the same time. So what was I saying? But soft neck, on the other hand, doesn't need quite as much. Am I right? Or am I thinking about something else? I feel like that's the way soft neck works, because they're predominantly grown in the lower part of the country where you don't get as cold. Well, anyway, the thought process is that I'm going to do the soft neck in a grow bag. I'm going to take one of my grow bags, put it in the garage where it doesn't freeze as heavily. And then by December-ish, I'll have loose soil to plant them in and then stick them outside. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to rethink that. All right. What do we got? Let's get on with this. This is a box that I saved of like the best of my harvest of hardneck. And there's actually a different variety. I bought this at the Garlic Festival in Saugerties, which happens at the end of September every year. It's one of the biggest garlic festivals I've ever known. My husband, they had like a tasting booth and a bunch of garlic, and my husband liked this one. But of course, I'm not going to remember now which one this was particularly, but I did want to plant some more. So I saved a few of these. These are tiny, like such a pain to open up and process. The majority of my hardneck is the music because that is the most reliable in our area. But I bought other things in the past, like a chestnut red, some other German red variety. So they could be mixed in with this. I no longer know what's what. I don't really care. Garlic, if it smells like garlic, tastes like garlic, it's good in my book. So this is my batch. And then this is, I believe, what is this? This looks like hardneck. Yes, this was hardneck I ordered from some wonderful people up in Ithaca, New York, Edible Acres. They have a nice space there and they grew some, so I bought some from them. But as sometimes happens, mail get delivered incorrectly, and I ended up getting someone else's mail who also had an order of soft neck, hard neck, and some elephant nuts. Elephant garlic nuts is what they call it. So I have more hardneck here. Now, these hardneck are unknown varieties that they've been growing for a while. So, oh my God, the focusing is really annoying. So I have a bunch more hardneck, a whole bunch of softneck, and then garlic nuts, which like take 2 years before they become elephant garlic. They're like little peanuts. Will not focus. Ooh. So things like this, I might plant in a grow bag. Those teeny tiny things. And then, where did I put? Where did I put the thing? Oh, okay. All right. I also ordered, what I had ordered was actually elephant garlic orbs, I think they call them, which is just one clove of an elephant garlic, something like that. But this is just like one clove. But it's not like a clove, because what I meant to do originally was just order elephant garlic, which I did. And this is from going out of the box. You can probably still snag some if you're curious about elephant garlic. And he had sent this, well, I ordered it recently. I was afraid they might have run out. So this is a elephant garlic clove. So you can imagine how big the whole bulb would be. Ugh, I can't do this. If all the cloves were together, which makes this really good for, like, what is it? Where they bake the whole thing and then they cut it in half and then people just spoon them out and like eat them or use them as spreads. So this is different. It's an elephant garlic part, but it's different from this part. And they're almost the same size. So that's a bunch of garlic I have to figure out where to put. So let's see. How many elephant garlics did we get? This was supposed to be a pound. Feels like it's more. 1. That looked like a regular garlic. 2, 3. 4. Not. Some are about the size of like regular garlic, like a big one. All right, let's be realistic and say we're going to plant just the biggest. I don't know why I'm doing this one at a time, other than to kill time. Hey, Chris. So like I have a couple of these thrown in, just regular eating garlic. I didn't really count that, did I? I was just taking them out of the box. All right, let's do this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Well, like that wouldn't really be a good representative of an elephant garlic. So let's take that out. Let's those. What did I say? 19, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16, perfect. 4, 8, 12, 16. Let me write that down. I think that's why I have the paper and pencil. So we have 16 elephant garlic. These Orby things. Four, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Perfect. In this case, I'm grateful for even numbers. So we got 8 orbs. Where'd the paper go? 8 orbs. And now, I think I'm gonna actually just like throw these nuts like random bets because I don't really know what to do. There's way too many. Where'd that piece of paper go? Oh. It says 100 seeds. Oh goodness, hundreds of these. I don't know. I don't know what I would do with those actually. Okay. So now we have a bunch of hard necks and a bunch of soft necks. And then the stuff, and this, I already have like a stash that I use in the kitchen. This was like the stuff I saved for seed purposes. All right, these are hard. So much garlic. These are the soft. And by the soft and hard, meaning this stem part here, super pliable when it's soft. Hey, G Mama, not pliable when it's hard. Now, the thing with soft neck is that the outer bulbs are fat, but the inner bulbs are tiny. So you don't end up using all of the cloves in the soft neck. You get the biggest and best you can get. Get on. All right, let's start with that. All right, I did do myself a favor and get a butter knife because sometimes these are hard to pry apart. All right, move over. Ah, my back hurts already. We haven't even started. Oh, I didn't bring a garbage bag. I mean, okay. So this doesn't really. All right, it's the best. We'll do what we can. All right, so I'm using like YouTube's live thing, so it doesn't. Oh, there it is. 20 minutes. That's pretty good. 20 minutes of having done nothing. All right. While I'm doing this, so I'm not just sitting here quietly because I'm quiet most of the time. I like to talk when I'm in here. I wanted to talk a little bit about. Now we call it garden burnout, but I'm renaming it garden fatigue, or just fatigue in general, life fatigue. So this season, I was feeling pretty good, during those months when most people were really down in the doldrums. So this is like August mainly. That's like the height of summer for me. I'm in New York Zone 6. But I was feeling pretty on top of things. The drought wasn't affecting me too much until the end of August. Then I started feeling it. But it wasn't like a burnout per se. I wasn't like exhausted. I just didn't want to do anything. Or maybe it's like it's not a physical exhaustion, it's a mental exhaustion. I was just like, I don't want to think. I don't want to. I don't know. All right. So these are the main cloves of the soft neck, and then this kind of like the center cloves get smaller and smaller. So you don't really want to plant this. You can, if that's all you have. You do what you do. And if you just want like greens, for greens purposes, then you definitely plant all that. So we have, I'll do a bunch and then I'll take, like this one's pretty big compared to, let's say, this one. What is it focusing on? Like, you suck, camera. All right, I'll do a few things. So as I was saying, so come end of August, September, even part of October, I was feeling just drained by everything. And when you just go, eventually it'll catch up to you. So it's just a matter of time. Maybe I was also in denial. I didn't want to be burnt out. I wanted to feel like I had actually gotten controlled and like paced myself so that I wouldn't be in that predicament. But it catches up to you eventually. Now, I say, I was in the shower yesterday and I was like, I know exactly what I'm going to say. It's going to sound so good. And now I'm like only half remembering what I thought was so good in the shower. But I do remember like this fatigue thing. Oh, I remember now. Yeah, okay. So like we all suffer some kind of fatigue like throughout our lives. Like I would say it starts off like for kids with food. Kids can eat like the same stupid thing for 2 weeks, a month, and then the next day they're like, nope, done. Never want to eat that again for the rest of my life. That's the most horrible thing ever. And so that's like the early stages where human beings experience fatigue of things. And then for some of us, it's maybe you move around a lot. So you get fatigued from staying in the same place for too long. I wouldn't say I've moved around a lot, but I've moved enough that I do get that. Like, since the last move here, I'm like, I never want to move again because that was so much work. But now that I've been here, and I've only been here like 5, 6. How long have I been here? 6, 7 years. I can move, sure, because I've like already forgotten. This is how people have a lot of kids, but not the same thing. It's like you forget how horrible something was, and you're like, oh yeah, sure, let's do that again. So for some people, it's moving. It's like they can't be in the same place for too long. They get antsy. They want to be doing new and better, or what's perceived as better. For me, I'd say the biggest thing that I suffer fatigue from is jobs, work. And it's not like I've held any one job for all that long. Like our generation isn't like our parents, where they had the same job for all their lives basically, and they earned pensions and all that good stuff. That doesn't exist anymore, or very little of it. So that kind of loyalty and that kind of stick-to-itness and depression filledness, I would not have survived in that type of environment. Like, I think, plus a lot to do, it has to do with you didn't really like the job you ended up in, which most of us, that's what happened. So I would enter a job situation, and I mean, if some of it was really boring, so that would get old really fast and I would move. But then there would be other jobs that I would stick it out and be like wanting to poke my eyes out and having like thoughts of having an accident just so I wouldn't have to go to work in that particular place. And you have to leave, but you can't put you don't want to put yourself back out there and get a new job and stuff. So you just stick it out until eventually they fire you, and then that's even better. and you try not to be like a terrible person and a terrible employee, but it starts to affect your work, and you start to make stupid mistakes and stuff. So that's kind of when you need to know you gotta go. So that's the garden for me. It was starting to feel like a job and not a hobby, I guess. And a lot of it probably has to do with YouTube, because whether you admit it or not, especially since you're not paid for it, it does become a job that you show up to week in and week out. Some people show up to it multiple times a week. Some people, do it once a week. But at some point, it's something like a schedule, and people expect, or you expect yourself to show up to, and that does become tiresome. So that, I think, is a lot. I got a piece of dirt to fly into my mouth. So I think that was a lot of it with gardening for me. Plus, by the time deep summer rolls in, everything is, up, and it's just weeds at this point. If you weren't that type of person who did very good job weeding, you're just, you're harvesting here and there, but you're trying to keep up with the pests and the weeds. And that's no fun. It hasn't been till recently when I've had to do projects. I think that's what it is. I'm project driven. I like to be doing something new and different. And it doesn't have to be different, like, collecting leaves every year. That's not different. But it's something different from what you did yesterday. So I'm more of a do something hands-on person versus waiting, not killing pests. I don't want to do that. I like to have a project that I start and, do and finish within a certain amount of time. So gardening at a certain point is not that. So that's when I start to be like, oh, this is boring. I don't want to do it anymore. But, YouTube is a curse and a blessing, because it does force you to stay out there and continue to show up. Let me count how many I've got already here. I haven't been doing, let's see. We had 16 elephants and 8 orbs. What is that? 24. So we want to do, that's 30 left over. So we want to do 15 soft neck and 15 hard neck for this bed. Anyway, So how many do we have now? 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, we got enough, but not like the biggest. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's do another one to get more nice size bulbs. And it wasn't just me. I was noticing, established YouTubers, content creators, weaning themselves off or just telling us that they were going to take a break. And I miss them. I really do, because I don't watch TV hardly anymore. Well, not TV per se, or streaming really. Most of the stuff I watch are children related. So YouTube is my entertainment. I have, I just listen to it sometimes on the earpods. And sometimes I prefer that, because when you have to watch it, then that's taking away from a lot of the day. But when some of these people leave the space, then you kind of, because then you got to find something else to fill that space. And it's like, oh, I'm a loyal person. Like if I'm subscribed to you or whatever, I'm going to watch whatever you put out. It's always funny to me when content creators wanna explore their boundaries, and most of the time they lose subscribers because those people are just like, no, I only want to see that one content you always do all the time, same over and over and over. But I'm like, I don't care what you do. I am invested in you, the person, not you for whatever content you originally came out with. If I like you, then I will show up for your artistry. Basically, I support the artist, not the art. I'll put it that way. So let's name a few. I can only name one that I can think of. It's Jessie from Roots and Refuge. She's weaned herself off quite a bit, and I really miss her. She has a light about her, and I just love her family and the dynamics of the whole farm and everything. So I miss her when she goes away. And then there was this one creator in the UK. He was just so light and effervescent, always excited. And I know he didn't always feel excited, and he would tell us that, but his energy was always was very uplifted. And he's completely taking a break. So I really miss him. And yeah, there's less to fill the days. I've spent quite a few hours on Roblox because my kids play, so I like to be involved in what they're doing. So there's this one game we play, and so now I find myself playing it by myself without the kids. So that's taken up a lot of hours, and we don't need that. I haven't read the comments. Let's see. Chris said, largely about anticipation. At some point, the garden starts to die, but if you have things due for harvest in the future, it gives you something to look forward to. Although getting deep into stress and mental health, I retired early, pension cost, but there was a cost to my mental health, right? Exactly. All right, let me see. Did I get the 15 I was looking for? 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, an extra. Okay, we got the 15 soft neck taken care of. We're over the half hour. Fantastic. Was there more to that story that I wanted to share why I was feeling garden fatigue? Yeah, no, I think that's it. Just that I miss certain YouTubers and the fatigue of life in general carries over to the garden as well. So now I was going to do 15 of the bigs. So these are way bigger than mine. I don't know. What's the biggest mine? Maybe. No, that wasn't the biggest. Well, it's the same width, but it's longer, like a quarter longer than mine. No, that's not even facing the same way. Like that. But what I did notice was they had allium leaf miner type creatures also going through their bulbs. So I wasn't just me. Well, obviously it's not just me, but even big growers will have this problem. All right, I think I wanted to separate. So I have all the great intentions keeping things separate in the beginning. And then at some point I forget that I was separating things and boom, they're all a mishmash. But I'm gonna try to keep this professional. So, what's anybody got planned for Halloween? Usually, we just, walk the kids around and have them have their fill of candy. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so that's 10 purchased bulbs, and then I'll do another 10 of my own. Okay, so usually we do the kids, thing. But actually, my husband and I met on Halloween down in the village, Greenwich Village, on the Halloween parade. So this particular Halloween is our 25th anniversary of meeting. Now, it just so happens that we have some friends down in Florida who have been dying for us to come over. So this is the year we took them up on it. So we will be partying it up in slightly warmer Florida for Halloween. So very excited, although as a mother, I am trepidatious in that this is the first time I'll be leaving my kids. It's not the first time I've left them overnight. It's the first time I've left them like so far away. Like the other times I've left them, I was just like a few hours away. But this is big. This is a big deal. We prepped them months now, like at least 6 weeks ahead of time, because it was going to be, since I've been a stay-at-home mom for all this time, they're quite attached, which is good for now. So we had to do a little bribing and all that good stuff to get them to agree to it. And it's just the new experience that they're worried about, not so much, they'll be fine. They've had chances, they've had times where we didn't put them to bed before and they survived. But they don't like to be taken out of their comfort zones. Oh, like most of us. Agree with you about YouTube. It's not perfect. The ability to interact with like-minded viewers and potentially to create their videos much better than television. That's true, yes. So when are you getting your channel up, Chris? All right. Oh, here's a big one. What did I do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8. Very noisy outside. Why is that? I need to check on that sound. It's very loud. Ow. It's very loud for this neighborhood. Oh. All right, it's just like lawn stuff, I guess. Because this morning, I was leaving and a oil delivery truck was in my driveway or in blocking my driveway. And they weren't expected to be here. So, I was like, what are you doing here? And they said, oh, I called your husband. And I'm like, really? So I called my husband. He wasn't answering. So I'm like, oh, okay. And then the guy just drove away. So apparently he may have called my husband, but he didn't talk to my husband, which I found out later. And we were not scheduled for a delivery. So I'm now listening, more so at any noises that come so that I can be present if anything happens. It's mainly because, we have a gate for the dog and we don't want these types of dogs will run and explore, not out of, trying to escape, but they want to smell everything like most dogs. And they're hard to catch. We've only almost lost her once, so don't want to do that. My last dog, which was a Maremma sheepdog, she got out of the gate. No, he got out of the gate a few times, and a few times, we just had to wait it out. Eventually, he came back. But a couple of times, he was close enough to the property where I can, like, either drag him back or get him in the truck. But it was always a thing because he was not as car trained as our current dog, so it was like hoisting 1,000 pounds, 100 pounds plus of something that doesn't want to be put in a car. It was very difficult. But I don't want to have that situation with this dog or any dog. All right, I think I had enough, but I think I've got plenty here. And these are, decent size clothes from my own garden. I'm perfectly happy with these sizes. All right, but it looks like I might be taking over. No, I am going to do some in-ground space. I did prep a couple of spaces so they're ready to go. I'm rotating where I had the corn. I had it there for 2 years now, so I'm moving the corn over. So I'm going to put garlic there this year. My issue with that in the past was that it was on the north side of things. But plants don't really grow up that much until later, after I've probably harvested the garlic, so I shouldn't really have to worry about it too much as far as shading out and everything. But I'm hoping to escape some of the leaf miners that are damaging some of the crop. And then I'm also using the raised bed because I want to be able to put a net over it so that, because it's supposed to be some kind of some kind of fly that lays these eggs, as opposed to like having them pupate in the ground and then they hatch and then they crawl up the plant. So I'm going to try the rotating so that if they're on that plant, if they're, in the old plot where they used to be and then they crawl out of the ground, then there won't be anything there for them to crawl onto. And then B, the raised bed I can cover up in case for the ones that fly and lay their eggs, and then save a few more of my garlic. And they don't damage the garlic terribly. It's superficial, but I'd like not to have damaged product. All right, what are we up to? We have 45 minutes. Very good. Oh, weeks away. Very exciting. All right. I'll be there. Is that it? Yeah, I think so. I got all the garlic. I just have to dig out the bed. I still have a boatload of peppers in that bed. It's the pepper bed. That's the one I'm using, the pepper bed. And they're like big plants. I dug up a few that were smaller, the ones that didn't really do much, and I'm hoping they'll do better next year. So I was able to get them into, little pots. But these big ones, I'm not really sure what to do with them. I know you're supposed to cut them down and all. There's still so much fruit. And we don't have freezing weather yet. It's still okay. Sunday is saying it's going to dip to 37. But that's not freezing. Really? Friday is 38. Wait, it's today. It wasn't like that this morning. It was like 40 or something. But still, it's not 34, 33, 32. Those are freezing weather to me. I mean, the plant's not doing much more, I guess. But the days are still in the 50s. Aren't they still growing pretty good? They're still taking in the sun and the rain. So I'm just like, oh, I don't want to pull them yet. But I got to get the garlic in. What to do? What to do? Oh, okay, wait. I could just dig up as much of the soil with it and then just let it well, basically it's going to be dying, but that might ripen the fruit, turn them red. Is that how that works? I think that's what I'm going to have to go with. Yeah. Ugh. But anyway, that's for this weekend. I have a few days. I do want to experiment. I don't know if I'll get to it. I want to experiment with soaking some of these. But then that's when it gets messy with now I have to have different cups for things and containers. And that just becomes too much work. If I just put them all together in one bowl, great. But that's not what I'm doing, is it? Maybe I'll just do it with one variety. Maybe I'll just do it with, let's say, my hardneck and see if it gets bigger or as big as the hardneck that I purchased. That might be doable. Yeah. Yeah, so soak in a compost tea of some kind or a manure tea, which I have both. I could make both. So that's something I'm thinking about doing too. Otherwise, I think I'm done. I thought it was going to take longer. Well, that's because I'm only sticking to the one bed. I need to do more if I'm going to plant out that other bed. But I won't keep you. I won't keep you. So we will end it here. Thank you, everybody who came to the chat and stuck around for any of the show. And if you catch the replay, thank you. Please hit the like, comment something, share. Not that you need to share. Bye, Chris. And I will talk to you again soon. So I'll harvest more. Bye. Now I just got to figure out how to end this because I don't know where the button is. Oh, there it is. All right. Bye.